Coming to you live from our Auckland Park studios, this is Prime News on SABC 3. Here are the stories making headlines.
It was late at night. A lot of people were tired, resting, even though some were singing.
KwaZulu-Natal Transport Department says it's investigating the cause of the crash that killed 10 people on the R34 near Ulundi early this morning. Flood victims in the Eastern Cape are picking up the pieces after floods lashed most parts of the province.
Confirmed that about 23 buses have been damaged by fire.
And investigations are underway into the cause of a fire in which more than 20 buses were burnt at a bus depot in Mabandla, north of Pretoria. Good evening and a warm welcome to Prime News on 3. I am Paulette. Now, a pleasure it is to be in your company this evening as we bring you the latest happening in and around the world. But first, let's start with this. KwaZulu-Natal EFF Secretary Vugani Ndlovu says that 2 victims are critical in hospital after a collision that claimed 10 lives in the wee hours of this morning. The collision happened on the R34 near Vryheid in northern KwaZulu-Natal between a truck and a bus transporting EFF supporters. Ndlovu says that the Economic Freedom Fighters is still awaiting an accident report to confirm the cause of the fatal crash.
We wouldn't like to predict exactly what might have happened because, there seems to be, mixed messages of what had happened. It was late at night. A lot of people were tired, resting, even though some were singing. But there were mixed messages. I don't know what exactly might have happened, but definitely by tomorrow we'll be sure.
We can confirm that it was a bus carrying EFF members and supporters coming from the June 16 rally, which we had at Kingsway Team Stadium in Umlazi. So they were on their way back to Vryheid after the rally had concluded. Don't want to divulge too much or speculate too much because we still have to do identifications of the people who were involved and speak to their families as well, but we can at least in the minimum confirm that it was EFF members.
Flood victims in the Eastern Cape are picking up the pieces after floods lashed most parts of the province. The floods claimed at least 90 lives. The search is underway for more missing people. Eastern Cape Premier Oscar Mabuyane visited flood victims in Butterworth, while Human Settlements Minister Thembise Melani visited the worst affected area in the province, Mthatha.
Would have been an incident where a wrong instruction, an administrative wrong instruction, was issued to actually move our people to the so-called BNBs. I didn't know that. I don't even know who does that. The report I got was that it's officials from Human Settlement National. I've spoken to the minister. This morning I sent her the reports. She came back to me now to say all is well, all has been corrected. Yes, our people might have been inconvenienced further to exacerbate that situation yesterday night. We want to apologize for that situation.
The municipality has moved swiftly to identify land together with the locals, particularly for the families that have been affected and their houses have been washed away, and they are closer into the dam and the stream, which it will not be advisable in our view that they build again in that area. We will be relocating them. Our team are on site assessing that area, and we will then begin after they've been given an opportunity to bury their loved ones, discussions and engagement into making them understand that it is important that they move into a much safer area where government can then be able to give a permanent solution.
City of Tshwane firefighters have managed to extinguish a fire at a bus depot in Mabandla, north of Pretoria this afternoon. The fire torched more than 20 buses belonging to Starline Bus Company. The cause of the fire is not yet clear.
can confirm that about 23 buses have been damaged by fire. The emergency call came to our emergency communication center to report that there is a grass fire in these premises at 414. In Mabandla. Therefore, our resources from Mabandla Fire Station responded to the incident, only to find that about 8 buses were already on fire from the vegetation that is surrounding the buses where they are parked. Our firefighting teams then called for backup, and stations from Roslin and Wonderboom turned out to assist our first arriving units, who came with fire engines, fire tenders, turntable ladder, aerial apparatus, and they quickly knocked out the fire.
Welcome back. Let's continue with this. MK party leader Jacob Zuma has revealed that there could be more to the redeployment of the party's former Secretary General, Shiovambu, than acting outside its constitution. Zuma was speaking at the party's youth wing rally in Claremont, Durban yesterday, where he said the party would not be used by individuals who sought to make money from it.
2 weeks ago, the MK party announced that Shiovambu had been redeployed to the National Assembly. The reason for this decision, they said, was that Shiovambu had taken an unsanctioned trip to visit fugitive pastor Shepherd Bashiri over the Easter weekend, and that his actions were not in line with the party's constitution. On Monday, Zuma hit back at individuals believed to have been aggrieved by the decision to remove Shiovambu, revealing that some had even intended on protesting.
Baba Secretary General, 7 manje.
He says, we have had 7 people already who have held the position of Secretary General because we are serious about this organization. And if you believe that you are popular and you're important, we don't care. This is about our party. Whilst he didn't mention Shiovambu by name, Zuma said they'd removed people from certain positions for serious acts of misconduct and to protect the people involved. The MKP has withheld certain information.
Abanye abantu abenza izinto ezirong singafuni.
He says that is why when we take decisions against people for wrongdoing, we don't want to embarrass them. So when we say they must be removed, it's not because we're making things up, but we won't tell people the real reason because we don't want to tarnish people's names. Shiovambu has not been seen with Zuma since his removal from the party's leadership structure. It's also unclear when he's likely to be sworn in as a member of parliament for the party. Ayanda Mhlongo, SABC News, Durban.
The Umkhonto weSizwe party in Limpopo has lodged a complaint with the Independent Electoral Commission over the voters' roll at Ward 13 in Seshego in Polokwane. This is ahead of the upcoming by-election next month. The ward became vacant when the former ward councillor was expelled due to misconduct.
Members of the MK party are crying foul over the voters' roll at Ward 13 in Seshego. They say up to 3,500 registered voters do not reside at the ward that will be contested on the 16th of July in a by-election. The former ward councillor was expelled after the Polokwane municipality lodged a grievance of misconduct against him. The MK party says it plans to contest the election.
All in all, we are having 3,677 voters who are on the Ward 18 voters roll. Some of them are in Madiba Park, some of them belong to Juju Valley, 133, 134, and 127, of which those wards are in Ward 1, not Ward 13. Out of 9,602, 3,766 don't belong to the voters' roll of Ward 13.
The MK party complained to the IEC that some of the addresses on the voters' roll are invalid.
So the voters' roll of Ward 13 need to be fixed totally. 3,666 must go out of the voters' roll, out of 9,602.
After lodging an objection, the IEC needs to investigate. After investigation, submit its findings to the Electoral Commission for a decision. We are quite surprised that MKP is now making allegations. It has already concluded that there is something wrong with the voters' roll.
The IEC has to finalize its investigation and provide the MKP with outcomes on the 28th of June before the by-elections are held. Katlagonyoni, SABC News, Seshego.
The ANC says that no state resources should be used to defend those accused of politically motivated murders. This after the inquest into the death of human rights lawyer and ANC activist attorney Griffith was adjourned by the Pietermaritzburg High Court. Mqenge was kidnapped in Umlazi in the south of Durban and brutally murdered in 1981.
The inquest was attended by the Mqenge family and ANC provincial leaders. The court heard that 4 of the 5 implicated former police officers have yet to finalize their legal representation from the state. Judge Peter Besaidenhout ordered that SAPS and the state should appear before the court to explain the reasons for the delay, should the legal representatives of the witnesses not be finalized by the next appearance. Mqenge's family hopes the reopened inquest will help them get answers.
We can only pray and hope that truth will come out, not for us only, as for everybody in South Africa, as the citizens. I mean, these political killings are not right, and they should come out and they should be punished.
The ANC says all individuals involved in the murder of political activists must be prosecuted.
We do believe that we deserve to know what really happened and why do they have to be killed so brutally for fighting for what was right. And we can see even today that we are in a democratic dispensation, but the questions still remain as to who were the people that were responsible for such gruesome killings and why did they have to kill them in such a manner.
The inquest was adjourned to the 9th of October. I'm Nonhlani Pamakwaza for SABC News in Pietermaritzburg.
Thank you for staying with us. We now continue, starting first with matters in the courts. Convicted rapist and murderer Thabo Bester and his co-accused in the prison escape saga will be back in the Free State High Court in Bloemfontein on 19 September for a final case management hearing. The hearing will determine whether all parties involved are ready for the trial. The trial itself has been set for 10 November until 27 March next year. Bester, together with his lover, Dr. Nadibama Kudumana, and others, made an appearance in the Free State High Court earlier for a case management hearing. All the accused, except for Bester and Makudumana, will be represented by the South African Legal Aid, while Zolile Sekeleni's application to have legal aid represent him on the matter was declined. Sekeleni is expected to make an appeal on that application. The case against the former ANC spokesperson Pule Mabe and 6 others has been postponed to the 7th of July at the Specialized Commercial Crimes Court in Palm Ridge. Mabe and his co-accused are facing charges of fraud, theft, money laundering, and violating the Public Finance Management Act.
I have it in writing where I asked pertinent questions, and they pretty much said, yeah, well, we made a mistake here. It was a typo. Instead of accused number 6, we wrote accused number 5. And that's exactly the point that I was making. To say, colleagues, look at the charge sheet. There are obvious errors. And this is why today you had the state saying they are asking for a postponement to amend the charge sheet or to give us some other version.
Transport infrastructure investment has emerged as a strategic lever to drive economic growth at the Transport Evolution Africa Forum and Expo. The 3-day gathering, which got underway today in Midrand, aims to unlock the continent's transport potential and drive industrial growth.
Technology has been flagged as an important area of investment at the Transport Evolution Africa Expo. CEO of the Road Freight Association, Gavin Kelly, says that while South Africa has some of the most strategically positioned ports globally, their competitiveness has been undermined by years of stagnation, in part due to outdated technology.
There seems to be a fair amount of damage done to a lot of that old equipment, so that needs to be changed. Secondly, it's understanding that we're playing against the world. We're no longer playing just against Maputo to the right of us and and Arla to the north of us and Walvis Bay to the left of us.
Kelly says with the recent guarantee granted to Transnet from government, it is important for infrastructure to be safeguarded. These routes are vital for industrial nodes like the Tshwane Automotive Special Economic Zone, which connects manufacturers to global markets. CEO Dr. Bheka Zulu says they are projecting a 1.1 billion rand spend on SMMEs as they move into the second phase of their work.
But over and above that, the progress towards our construction for phase 2 also involves a lot of black industrialists. And for us, this is an important milestone because for the first time, we want to showcase our commitments towards empowerment and being inclusive. And part of the black industrialists will be looking at the new energies, the new solutions around manufacturing of buses and tires and other EV-related components.
With Africa's transport industry projected to grow by 6 to 8% annually from 2025 to 2040, private investment through public-private partnerships is seen as key to closing the infrastructure funding gap. Nosipho Radebe, SABC News, Johannesburg.
Athletics South Africa appeared before Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Sports, Arts and Culture today. One of the crucial lines of questioning was related to the irregular credit card expenditure by ASA President James Moloi, revealing transactions at various taverns, shisanyamas and liquor stores.
In as far as the issue is concerned of the tavern, there's no meeting that can be held in a tavern. The music is so loud in a tavern. How do we listen? How do we hear each other in a tavern? Who has a meeting in a tavern? People are dancing. Then the issue of Norman Goodfellas. You know, we are on this drive to get sponsorship. Athletics South Africa, you couldn't take the athletes to Peru. You know how bad does this look? That we even having this discussion, and I must thank the Portfolio Committee. You have no business. Hockey South Africa, and some of the runners, different sporting codes, some of them pay for themselves. And then they hear the management, the body responsible for looking after them, is buying stuff at the tavern. We will be forensically investigating that. On top of the answers that the Portfolio Committee has asked, I will have a full forensic audit with immediate effect. Because if I go tomorrow and ask people to give a which I've done in the past, I've raised millions for you already. I picked up a phone and I raised millions for Athletics South Africa. But now I hear these things of taverns. It can't be right. There's no excuse. And don't lie to the committee. I hope everything that has been said here is the truth.
Time now to check out what the weather has in store for us. Do stay tuned.
Good evening and welcome. Let's take a look at what to expect weather-wise for tonight as well as tomorrow. We do have a cold front approaching. Ahead of it, isolated showers and rain along the southwestern southern coastline into the adjacent interior. It will remain fine over the central, northern as well as the northeastern parts of the country. Now tomorrow we see that cold front moving through. Some strong winds along the coastal regions. Partly cloudy skies over the western, southern as well as the southeastern parts with some isolated showers and rain over the western and southern parts of the Western Cape and along the southern coastal regions of the Eastern Cape. Light rainfall expected along the coastal regions of KwaZulu-Natal, stretching into the adjacent interior. Otherwise, a fine day forecast over the central, northern as well as the northeastern parts. Now, the South African Weather Service warning of damaging waves, a yellow level 2 warning along the southwestern and southern coastline of the Western Cape. And then in that same region, a yellow level 1 warning of damaging winds, possibly leading to difficulty in navigation at sea. Tomorrow, those warnings stretching to include the southern as well as the southeastern coastal regions, so please do take caution. Overnight temperatures seeing Dar and Beaufort West down to 3, 5 in Pretoria as well as in Ermelo, Musina expecting an overnight low of 12 tomorrow, a warm day with 27, 30 in Palabora, cold in Bethlehem with 17, along that eastern coastline, Port St. John's, Durban, 21, Richards Bay 24, but very cold conditions over Sutherland with a maximum of 10. That's your weather. Just stay tuned to SABC News.
Well, that concludes our time together this evening. Much gratitude for joining us. Until next time, it's good night and God bless.